Hi, I'm Holly Parks, and I'm here to answer the question, what do you do when someone just won't do their job? You know, letting people go these days is very difficult. You have to have documentation, evidence, facts. I've had a recent experience where I was working with someone who just wouldn't do his job. And his behavior indicated that he was never going to do it. He deflected. He always had an excuse for why he wasn't doing things. He was always distracted. Most managers have experienced this. Am I right? So what do? Well, first of all, you put together a performance plan. That's a plan that says these are the things that we want you to do. They have measurable goals, and it's agreed upon by both people. Then you need to check in often. I meet with this person once a week, and we go over what he's supposed to be doing and talk about things that might be getting in his way. Documenting the behavior is also important, and again, you need to get their agreement. Because remember, we live in a litigious society where people will sue you for the smallest things, so facts are important. If you're dissatisfied with them, you need to make sure that they know that. But you also need to tell them if you are satisfied, so you give them feedback both ways. You need to give them parameters and time frames. If you don't do this by this date, then there will be consequences. And speaking of consequences, you really need to be clear about the consequences that you're going to have. And I think one of the most important things to remember when you're working with somebody who's not doing their job is your job as a manager is to set them up for success. And what that means is that you need to make sure that you removed any of the barriers that might be getting in their way, that you're giving them feedback on how they're doing and giving them both constructive and positive feedback. And you need to provide them with training in case they don't know what they're supposed to be doing and they don't know how to do it. So as long as you give them everything that they need to be able to be successful, that's your job. And what if all this fails? Well, this is when you give them the opportunity to find work elsewhere. The important lessons that we learned through all of this is that if someone doesn't do their work within the first 30 days, they're never going to do it. Secondly, we learned that when somebody's not doing their job, their coworkers resent it. Not only do they resent the person who's not doing their job, but they also resent us for not holding them accountable. And about 95% of the time, when somebody's not doing their job and we give them the opportunity to work elsewhere, they're relieved. It makes a big difference to them to be able to move out and not have to go through that stress every day. It's not fun for anyone. And sometimes, no matter how good a manager you are, you just can't lead or manage somebody to do their work. If this happens to you, remember that there is always something that you can do. Performance plans, checking in, feedback, and you don't have to live with it or the stress.